All right, that was fun, right? We're starting to get the hang of this. Now let's move into part 5, okay? And the title of the lesson is The Power of Undo. It says, what if you've moved your object too far? You can fix it very easily using undo and redo. And by the way, those keys are at the top of the screen, basically right here. There's undo, and then the other one is redo. They're right next to each other. And right now, redo is grayed out because I haven't done anything that I can now redo in this part of this lesson. I can undo something, but I can't redo anything because it's just grayed out right now. So that's one way to go back and forth between what you do in this program, okay? So for example, if I move it, like I learned in the last lesson, redo, what if I undo that? Moves it right back to where it was at the beginning. What if I want to redo what I just did by moving it a little bit? I redo, and it moves it back to where I just moved it. Okay, so undo and redo. Take a minute to practice that, and pause the video, and then I'll see you when you're ready in part 6. I'm going to go there now, but you can pause and practice. Okay, part 6, it says rotation. Now this is a little tricky. We're going to spend a little time here, okay? I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. I'd like to get rid of that shape menu. There we go. So it says basically rotation is a movement, and it's in a circle. This is a rotation, right? Around in a circle, okay? And it's just asking you to look at the 3D modeler salute. It's hard for you to see right here, all 3 dimensions, but there it is basically, the 3D modeler salute, right? You have x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis, right? Okay, all 3 axes. Just a way for you to visually imagine your 3 dimensions, okay? But look at the instructions. It just says practice that, and just so you remember what the 3 axes are, and then continue to the next step. So come with me, let's go to part 7. Okay, here we go, rotation handles, okay? Let's get a hang on this, okay? We've got to get a handle on this. It says, when you have an object selected, Tinkercad will display 3 rotation handles. Let's look and see where they are. So I selected my object, and now the rotation handles they're talking about, let me make them a little more visible so you can see them all. Okay, here's one of them. I'm hovering over right there. You can see the protractor appeared right when I hover over the arrow. Okay, it's the curved line. It's the curved line with the 2 arrows on the end. Okay, and there's a third one down here. So you can see I can go back and forth on the x-axis. I can go back and forth on the y-axis, and I can go back and forth on the z-axis. Okay, so you can rotate this object in 3 dimensions. Side to side, forward and back, and then around, up and down. So again, side to side is this axis, forward and back would be this axis, and up and down would be, oh, hang on, I'm confusing myself. But you guys get the idea, right? It's hard for me to see it in the camera because it's reverse for me. I'm trying to do it right for you guys. I got messed up. You guys get it, right? There are 3 rotation handles for every object, okay? So let's practice moving the object around in rotation, okay? It just says we're going to use them, but we're not going to do it until the next part. So let's go to part 8, okay? Okay, now the protractor. That word at the top is new vocabulary. If you've never heard of it before, maybe you have and you know what it is, but maybe it's new. Protractor is like a ruler for rotation. So it tells you how many degrees you have moved in rotation when you move something, okay? So let's practice this, okay? I'm gonna show you how to use the rotation handles, okay? So first of all, I'm gonna zoom in. Here's the rotation handle. If I click and hold and then keep my mouse inside the protractor, so on the inside toward the center of the circle, and rotate, it's gonna rotate 22.5 degree increments. Big jumps. Can you guys see that? Let me try that again. So click on the double handled arrow. Scooch your mouse down inside that circle of the protractor and then move it. Stay inside the protractor and it'll jump 22.5 degrees at a time. But if I move the mouse outside of the protractor, if I click on the handle and make sure the mouse is outside the protractor, outside the circle, and move it, it moves in 1 degree increments. Okay, so practice that. And that works with every rotation handle. This one, for example, if I click and hold, make sure the mouse is down inside the circle and then rotate. Oops, let me try that again. And then rotate. It's going to go in 22.5 degree increments. So basically every 2 movements is 45 degrees. If I instead click on the double handled arrow and make sure the mouse is outside of the circle and move it, it's going to move in 1 degree increments. Okay. So nice. You have very nice control over it that way. Now, the last thing is if you hold down Shift while you move the protractor, okay, if I click and hold the arrow and then hold down the Shift key and then move it, I can jump in big 45 degree jumps. Does that make sense? See, I move it, it's 45 degrees. Now this works for every rotation handle. So if I do this one too, I can move in 1 degree increments by making sure the mouse stays outside of that circle. I can move in 22.5 degree increments. Hang on. If I click and hold and then make sure my mouse stays inside the circle, and basically every 2 of those makes 45 degrees. So, but if I wanted to, I could hold down the Shift key and then move in 45 degree increments at one time if I really wanted to. Okay, so 3 different ways to move along in rotation: by 1 degree, by 22.5 degrees, and by 45 degrees. So practice that right now, get the hang of that, and I'll see you in part 9 in the next video.